The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
When we were used to winning, winning was just as like getting up in the morning, just, yeah, we're winning today.
It's like that again now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Ah, yes. Now that will get you fired up for a football weekend. It'll get you fired up for Philadelphia. The GO team of the senior pros headed to Philadelphia on Sunday night. Sunday night football against the unbeaten Eagles. Will they still be unbeaten when we reconvene in Monday at noon?
For some reason, I also get up and go into church feeling when I hear that song. I think we were always going to church.
It reminds you of Hamilton Park Baptist Church.
Hamilton Park First Baptist. Before I got up, like, oh God, we got to be back by halftime, guys. Man, I hope he doesn't go. I hope the preacher doesn't go long.
All the good old days.
Yeah.
Yes, the good old days. Welcome to a fabulous Football Friday edition of Mick Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and the star of this show, that would be Mickey Spagnola on a Regeneration Friday where the Cowboys are simulating a game-type atmosphere out on the practice field as we speak.
It's good to be a star in somebody's eyes. You're not a star at home,
No, never. No, not at all. Sounds like it was a rough night for Mickey.
Spoke up real fast on that, Bill. You spoke up real fast, Bill.
Oh, you never are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's Friday.
It is, and the Cowboys are headed to Philly tomorrow.
And they finished their regeneration practice.
Mm-hmm.
Which
They're
is
walking off the field.
Walkthrough.
They're walking off the field as we speak.
As they trotted during practice, because tomorrow is their more main practice that used to be on Friday. Then Mike moved to Saturday, but I see where the Eagles felt the necessity to practice today, or Thursday.
They finally got
Wednesday.
a practice in today.
Although I saw a bunch of the guys on the injury report listed as resting.
Yes, that's right.
They didn't need to practice.
Such as?
Lane Johnson was one of them. Fletcher Cox.
Lane is a D lineman or O lineman?
The offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle.
Right. Yeah, Fletcher Cox was resting. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. I wrote it down.
I think the point is they're trying to heal up quickly, right?
Yeah.
All right, your resting players for the Eagles yesterday: James Bradbury, cornerback; A.J. Brown, wide receiver; Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle; Brandon Graham, defensive end; Lane Johnson, your offensive right tackle; and Darius Slay and Josh Sweat.
But limited yesterday and still limited were Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Jordan Mailata, and Isaac Seumalo. Got to go slow there. You don't want to.
But so you have to give us the positions because I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that's critical in regards.
Landon Dickerson's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Kelsey's the center. Mailata is a tackle, and Seumalo is a guard, and Avante Maddox is a cornerback, along with Jake Elliott, the kicker. So he's probably not playing. And I think that about sums it up of the main guys.
So you're saying none of those
Josh
guys?
Jobe was limited.
So Jake Elliott's not playing?
It didn't sound like it when I read about it. I mean, he's limited, so I guess that's encouraging. But I think
Dak was limited.
That's right. As long as you're out there and you took one snap or 10 snaps and you got something bothering you, you're limited. So we should get the next Dak update.
So how's he going to be listed this afternoon? How will Dak be listed this afternoon on the practice report? On a Regeneration Friday.
Probably
After today?
After today, which is the final practice report.
Okay.
Probably,
And this is the day where
this is the
players who are
official.
listed, players who have already been determined as being out are listed on the practice report as out, or you give a game status of doubtful or questionable. You don't have to give any game status.
I would imagine they will do doubtful. Doubtful is an estimation on Saturday's practice because he'll do something tomorrow. Maybe
Okay,
not.
so he'll be
18.
they'll be listed. He'll be listed as limited and doubtful for the game. You think?
I think so. Yes.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I would suggest to you.
I was going to bring that up today, Bill, and I'm glad you said
I
it
would
first.
suggest to you
Because
not
now
to
we can
hold
get
your
back
breath.
to what we were talking about. What was that, Wednesday? It's going to happen, man. I think it's going to happen.
That Dak's going to suit up?
And he's going to be Cooper Rush's backup.
You think so?
I think so. Tell us, right? We're right?
No.
Correct?
No.
For real.
Dead wrong.
No.
Dead wrong.
No.
Is there a chance? Okay.
There is a chance.
If Will Greer,
Why wouldn't you list him as out then?
See?
doubtful is the same
See
thing.
that? No,
You
not
can
really.
play if you're doubtful.
Well,
you
that'll
can't
cause-
play
Not
if you're
really.
listed as out.
That'll cause the Eagles to have to do a little bit of research
Yep.
and waste their time.
Yeah, but from a Cowboy fan point of view, I think it says a lot about us looking at him suiting up and being ready if Cooper gets hurt.
And would
Could you see
Is
that?
there-
Could you see that? I could see that.
Okay.
Scenario.
Is there a scenario?
have all three quarterbacks?
Exactly what I was going to say. Is there a scenario that you could present that you could have all three quarterbacks active on Sunday night?
In your 48.
Uh-huh.
Because you're going to have to elevate. I'm trying to think. Well, you got to elevate Will Greer.
Right.
One. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think what's the other position that
Long snapper hasn't been signed to the roster yet.
he
right?
has not. So
So
there's
you
your
get-
two. Mm-hmm. So you would have to have those two up, which means you can't. You've already got two spots taken for sure. So now you're down to 46. That means you have to take somebody that would be playing off your 46 if Dak was active. He hasn't played a competitive.
All right, I'm just okay.
Wait, let me just this. Listen, he hasn't taken a competitive snap yet. He hasn't thrown a competitive pass in practice yet. Okay, and he hasn't taken a snap from center.
Let me paint a scenario for
Thank you. Go, Bill. I know you come through with something.
Okay, what if in this game you have a need in the fourth quarter? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're not good. Heaven forbid anything happened to Cooper Rush, whatever. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, you had to go to a backup quarterback, and you needed a drive to win the game.
That's it.
Is there a scenario that you could paint that okay, maybe Dak could do that, and you're
Just give me 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
where you're down 3,
2 timeouts.
something like that, and you need a drive to win the game, and for some reason, Cooper twisted his ankle or something.
Well, then Will Greer shouldn't be on the 53-man roster, or on the game day roster, I should say.
I'm not saying that it's who would you prefer? A
healthy Dak.
Okay, but if Dak's out there making throws,
Can he take the snap from? Well, I guess he doesn't take.
it's
snap
going to
from
be
center 'cause
shotgun.
It's
going to be shotgun situation. So I'm trying to paint a scenario.
We just have to willingly make that adjustment. He's gonna whatever's gonna happen.
And it'll be
it'd
be a 2-minute drill.
It's gonna have to be shotgun. We already know that. That's no matter. We're not.
So I'm trying to figure out: is there behind closed doors in their meetings, or they may be having this same conversation? Is there a scenario where we should have Dak available just in case we need him in a late game situation? Silence from the star of this show, Mickey.
He's not trying to entertain. Are you?
He's not entertaining.
Wait, are you entertaining it, or
No,
is he searching for a scenario?
He's searching for a quote. He's looking for something.
He's searching for a scenario.
I'm looking for what he said about.
I'm telling you, he knows it's a scenario that this can happen, man. I'm telling you, we need to be prepared for this. You know.
So McCarthy said about that, we've adjusted here. We're going with what Clarence suggested. Maybe he'll play on Sunday.
Say it again.
See that?
Say it one more time.
See? Clarence?
Yes.
Who's Clarence?
Hill.
Oh?
Can you repeat that for me?
Wait, what?
Clarence suggested yesterday, why aren't you acting like Dak might play to bluff Philadelphia so they waste time
preparing
for Dak.
Right.
And today he said, when it got asked again about it, he said, we've adjusted here. We're going with what Clarence said. So maybe he'll play on Sunday with a big smile on his face.
There you go.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
So that's what's dripping from this conversation is sarcasm, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. We cleared that up. Now then, let's get to the business of who is going to play on Sunday against Philadelphia and what needs to happen for the Cowboys to emerge victorious.
I would think that Jason Peters is going to be active from just what they've said. Mike said today that he had his best practice since he's been here on Thursday. Meaning not since his injury, since he's been here.
Right.
So I would imagine backup guard, backup tackle. He's also talked highly of Josh Ball, too. So I don't know if there's a chance there. Forniak had been the backup guard, but they kind of liked him at fullback.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that if you had Peters and Josh Ball active, that Farniok would not be active?
No, he would be because you got to have 8 to move the other 2.
Yeah.
So maybe that just
so you
gives
have
him
a fullback
this is what
too.
your deal is. Yeah, exactly. Micah Parsons sounds like he's a go. They would have to leave him behind to keep him off the field.
Any participation in practice?
If they did, he would buy his own ticket to get to Philadelphia to play.
Any practice participation?
Limited.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to get him to Sunday. And I don't know if the injury, if that limits him to playing one position or the other. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, that's my thing. I wonder just how he really feels. How limited is he really? That's the question.
Is it easier to go vertically than horizontally with a strained groin? I
would have
sure.
to put him on
judging
that line.
by the way he played on Sunday after suffering the injury,
I'm putting him on that line. Yeah, I'm
he
putting
can
him on
do
that
that,
line.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Actually, that's I used to say that about DeMarcus Ware when they moved to that 3-4, and at times I'd see him dropping into coverage, and I'm like, I want DeMarcus Lawrence going forward, not backwards.
Look like a stork trying to backpedal.
Yeah. So it looks like he's good to go. Sounds like Schultz is doing better since he had been playing with a brace. I think the previous game. I don't know how well that worked, but this last game, it sounded like he was able to either take it off that game or take it off this week. So Schultz should be good to go.
And he only had 10 snaps against the Rams.
Right.
which is 10 more than his targets.
One of the guys I think they're worried about is Rico Dowdle, their third running back. So if he can't go, Malik Davis is going to take his role, special teams and just kind of in reserve. And I think that kind of takes care of all the guys that were limited or did not practice. DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously good to go after what he said yesterday.
What did he say yesterday?
Everybody was talking about what are they going to do? How are they going to stop the Philly offense and Hurts? And he finally said, they ain't played us. And then when they asked again about Hurts, he goes, I am done talking about Hurts. Have a good day.
And there's merit to that. You know, it really is. When you think about this defense, I haven't seen, you know, Tampa Bay did an okay job.
Right.
But I just haven't seen anyone to this point show the weakness, expose the weaknesses that we had last year. There were games when we really needed that defense. Now, first of all, hell of a defense last year. Playmaking defense that was exciting. Sometimes they would just took the whole game over. More consistent this time in the fact that the yardage, besides those big plays, the yardage, the running plays, the lack of effectiveness by the offense on third down, things of that nature. Once they hone in on it, they're just overwhelming.
And really, the only thing that's occurred so far is at times their ability to be consistent against the run. And that was one of the things McCarthy pointed out in the press conference, saying, you know, the key thing for the defense this game will be tackling. We got to tackle, and I think that was in reference to Hurts, because if you look at it, you know, 1, 2, 3 of the 5 teams they've played have run for at least 142 yards. They can't let Philadelphia do that, because that gives Hurts protection, right? That brings in play action.
The jet sweep.
Yeah, and that allows him to drop like he's going to throw and then take off and run like a design play.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
Yeah, like RPO or something like that.
So he's rushed for the most yards of any quarterback so far after 5 games.
We will be tested.
266.
We will be tested.
And he is tied for the lead among non-kickers with his 6 touchdowns. That's significant to me. So that's why McCarthy pointed out we got to tackle.
I would love to see the average time per drive, per touchdown drive, because they seem to control the tempo of the game when they're at their best. They seem to keep their defense off the field.
Touchdown drive. I don't think that's listed here. Let me look. But the thing that McCarthy said, one of the things they do is we've got to disrupt their pace, because once they get going fast,
that's it.
And then you probably don't have time to get your guys off the field. So their overall time of possession is 33 minutes, 53 seconds. I don't think they break it down per scoring drive.
That's a tough one. And I mention that only because that's when you know that they are controlling the pace of the game.
Right.
They are. I mean, this is not scoring drives, but their average drive time, it ranks 3rd in the league, which is their average drive time is over 3 minutes of possession.
But you know what? The Cowboys have more sacks than they do. Cowboys are second in the NFL with 20. San Francisco has 21. I believe the Eagles have 17. 17, yep. So.
And when we talked about the running game, it seems, as far as our run defense is concerned, it seems like we adjust well at halftime. There's less effectiveness per game in the second half by the opposition running the ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They corrected that against Washington, it was, I want to say 101 in the first half and 41 in the second half.
Mm-hmm. And the Rams, except for that big play, the one big run, I think it was, no, they pretty much shut that down, especially when the Rams were trying to move the chains. So they seem to control the game at the biggest moments of the game, and that's going back to post Bucks, post Tampa Bay.
So I can give you this on time, drive time. Their longest drive by minutes was 7 minutes and 55 seconds against Detroit.
First game of the year.
They went 82 yards.
That's it?
That's what it says.
You know, one of the
I
Cowboys'
expected more than that.
best drives in the game against the Rams was to start the second half.
Yeah, because they went
53 yards in 13 plays, resulted in a field goal, but it ate up nearly 7 minutes of the clock.
which means they
So the
were
Ram-
converting third downs.
They converted 3 third downs on that drive.
Yeah, which has been a problem for the offense, by the way.
And one of them was the sensational toe tap catch by Michael Gallup on the sideline on a 3rd and 16 play for 27 yards.
Right.
But that is so big in the third quarter. It's happened to the Cowboys so many times in the past, where the other team gets the kickoff, and then all of a sudden the game is down to that first drive you eat up 7 or 8 minutes on the clock, and now there's only a quarter and a half left in this game, and now you more quickly if you're behind you quickly abandon your game plan and just start throwing the ball.
Think of the effectiveness of Jalen Hurts, not just in scoring, but in moving the chains. I'm sure, we're going to have to spy the guy. On 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, he's going to be probably the number one weapon for them.
And you probably have to do it with a safety, not a linebacker, because the linebackers run well, but not that well, right? And
when you say safety, you mean
like Hooker or Wilson.
So you wouldn't think J-Ron?
Or I don't think Curse runs that well, does he?
And then what about the tight end?
Yeah,
J-Ron can handle that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. If J-Ron's spying,
then you get a Wilson covering. You get Wilson spying.
Yeah,
and J-Ron covering the tight end.
But then again, if one of those safeties is spying, then you're hung out to single safety high, right?
You talk about first downs.
I don't think we're afraid of their wide receivers.
Not even A.J. Brown?
Man.
Not even the 10th pick in the draft, Devontae Smith?
Man.
Now, that guy worries me.
And on your first downs, the Eagles are 3rd in the league in first downs. Where do you think the Cowboys rank in first downs on offense?
Pretty far down.
Yeah, I was going to say
after getting 10,
27.
After getting 10 in their win over the Rams, 30. They're 30th.
Lord. Really?
30th in the league in first downs.
But guess what? Remember when I brought up the game in 1991 when they went up there and
they had
won?
11.
They had 11.
That's right. That's right.
And they won.
Which
the
is
Cowboys,
also a great number. It ain't 10, but
so, all right,
and they only had 211 yards offense.
It's the irresistible force versus the immovable object in this regard. The Eagles 3rd in the league in first downs. The Cowboys defense 4th in the league in giving up first downs.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
All right, we continue with more Mick shots in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, a proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, kpostcompany.com.
On Thursday Night Football, there is a new rule. First team to 12 wins.
No, first team to score a touchdown wins.
No, last week, no team scored
right.
a touchdown.
No. So you know what? I figured out that on Thursday Night Football, and I don't know what happened the week before last week, but if you count last week and last night, they went 97 minutes of playtime before a touchdown was scored. 97 minutes.
My boy Ron Springs called that buzzard luck. You got buzzard luck. You know, you pull games like this.
And I'm not sure I was on board with the Bears dressed in orange, like a bunch of pumpkins out there.
Well, did we have to say it? Do we have to say it? It's Halloween's coming up. Come on. Yeah.
Orange helmets.
Where's your festive? You know.
So it was 12-9 last week. Indianapolis against the Orange Crush,
right?
Denver, and the Orange Rush.
Question.
Yeah,
okay,
Orange
so
Rush.
The kid muffs a punt. He muffs a punt. They follow him to the sideline. They say he's had 2 fumbles the last 2 games or something like that. Is a muffed punt
considered a fumble?
It is not.
It isn't.
Way to go, Christopher.
It's not a turnover.
I think they would. I guess that was just piling on top of his, problems with not just catching the ball, but even holding on to it.
Well, how about standing up? He was falling. It's he slipped and he was on his knees, and the thing kind of hit him in the head.
They almost won the game,
and they did.
I was pulling for
I mean, if he cleanly catches that ball, that's a touchdown.
The guy dropped like 3 balls, and he kept coming back to him.
The guy at the end?
Did you see his catch?
Mooney.
Did you see his catch last week?
No.
He made an unbelievable catch.
Is that why they kept coming at him?
Probably. I mean, he's a good player.
But Bill.
But it's the Bears and
result oriented.
That's
okay.
Right.
The guy missed like 3 big catches, and this is why Justin's back there running around like trying to save his own life. And you feel so sorry for Justin. He's like a baby brother that you know what I'm saying. He's just looks so helpless back there, trying to protect himself, and you're back there. You're dropping passes as I'm getting blasted while throwing the ball to you.
Don't you think? I just thought one of those plays, once they got to the 5-yard line, that they're going to call a run play for him.
Yeah.
And they never did. I trust him running.
If he, like you said, if he catches it, it's
throwing.
over. If he catches it,
he bobbled it.
Mm-hmm. And he was right
because he was in until the ball popped out.
If he catches it, it's already in the end zone.
Yeah, Right.
Period.
And Al Michaels said that, well, he was out of bounds. Even if he had caught it, as far as once he landed, he didn't get 2
His
feet.
elbow.
I need to take a closer look to see if there's another part of his body that might
touched
have
before
touched
the
before
elbow.
his elbow touched out of bounds.
But the ball still wasn't over the line.
No, but had he cleanly, and what I'm saying is, even if what Al Michaels said, even if he had cleanly caught it, it was not going to be a catch because he didn't get 2 feet in bounds. But there might have been a
if
knee
he would
that
have
got
caught
down
it
or something.
cleanly, then
he would have come
he
down
would have
sooner.
come down much sooner.
Right.
If he would have caught it cleaner.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
I don't think that would have been an issue.
Then he
at
could
all.
have focused
All he
on
would have
getting
done
his-
was done this.
Yeah.
Went down and
Right.
he was ready to do. That's his problem. He was already prepared to stretch it over, but he never did this.
Mm-hmm. And as it was, if he had caught it, it was already over. He didn't know that at the time.
But I think, like they said, you have to still come down, right, with 2 feet.
Right. Yes.
It's not like
But you're right.
diving over
You're
and
right.
reaching
He
when
was
you're running.
once he bobbled, then he lost body
And
control.
he lost it was out of his hands after that.
So that's neither here nor there. We're focused on Sunday night in Philadelphia.
With Micah Parsons tied for the league lead with 6 sacks.
Dorrance Armstrong has to be at least, if not in the league lead, tied for the league lead in block kicks.
I don't think they have that as a stat here in my big stat page.
But he's got 2 now.
Did you see what happened? Why did he get through so cleanly on the punt?
He just was faster, I think.
I think that they probably saw it. I think they saw it on film, too.
That's my point.
Yeah,
This
especially
is by
early
design.
in the game.
This is by design.
Yeah.
Fossil didn't want to reveal that
Don't you know?
information.
No
Don't
one
you
talked
know?
about it.
How elated do you think Fossil was at getting a block kick in L.A. against the Rams, his former team?
Yes,
So there was some stat.
Yes, that was lost on me, Bill. That's good stuff.
Some stat after the game that he's like one of 2 people, maybe in the Super Bowl era. Oh no, the sack area, that ended up with a sack and a blocked punt in the same game. I want to.
Since 1982.
Yeah, since 1982.
Oh, what is that?
So it was somebody else I read.
That's all right. We don't need the answer to that.
We gotta
it's
take a
not
break
important,
anyway.
but I'm kind of curious. But
Well, we're going to give Mickey time to look that up. And then when we come back here on Mix Shots, it's our picks to click.
I'm already
and
ready.
who wins on Sunday night in Philly next.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Mixed Shots.
Live music fans, head to the Star in Frisco on Wednesday, October 26th for a brand new monthly concert series, Sounds of the Star, featuring the spectacular Southern Soul band, Prophets and Outlaws. The concert kicks off at 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public. For more info, visit thestarinfrisco.com.
All right, very good.
I got a semi-answer for you.
Okay, yeah.
Dorrance
What was
Armstrong,
the question again?
Dorrance Armstrong leads the league in blocked punts this year with 2. Okay? He also has recorded a sack in all 3 games he's blocked a kick, joining J.J. Watt as the only active players with a sack and a block kick in 3 different games. How about that?
That's crazy.
There you go.
Right
that is
here.
Crazy.
That Cowboys
and I
release.
almost chose him as my pick to click last week.
Well, that doesn't count.
And who did you take?
Fowler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I took Cavante Turpin.
I don't remember who I took.
I
took Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah.
All right, this Eagles team, the Cowboys front is really good on defense.
Right.
The Eagles front is really good on defense. Everson, did you see what Jordan Davis ran at the Combine?
Yeah, I did.
For what?
4.78.
I would have barely edged him at the tape.
6'6", 341 pounds, and he ran a 4.78 at the Combine.
Well, why in the world did he just play 29 snaps that a season high this last
tired,
week?
Man, carrying that stuff around.
That's because of all the other guys.
Yeah,
that have
he can't get on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as rookies are concerned, I think he's up near the top in some certain stats that they have out there in regards to pressures. I think he's like high up there as far as the rookies provide pressures and hits and things of that nature.
Well, let's see if
the other, as you look that up, the other addition that they made on their front, Hassan Reddick, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
This year?
Yeah,
he came out.
He's got 4. He was with Carolina last year.
Okay,
and originally was a first-round pick, 13th overall of Arizona 5 years ago.
Ooh.
And had 11 sacks last year. He's got 4.5.
4.5 already.
That's nice.
Jordan Davis,
that's pretty good.
11 total tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. He doesn't have a sack yet, but he's got a pass defensed.
Now, having said that about Jordan Davis, he's not their best interior defensive lineman. Who would you say is their best interior defensive lineman?
Well, either Hargrove or Cox.
Mm-hmm. Hargrove.
Yeah, Javon Hargrove, 7.5 sacks last year. And when I did the coaches show last night, McCarthy, I mentioned Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Hassan Reddick, and neglected to mention Javon Hargrave. And the coach quickly pointed out that, and don't forget Javon Hargrave. I mean,
well, you guys made me aware of him last year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year you guys were like, hey, this is the guy. So I started watching him a lot more than Fletcher.
And we haven't even mentioned Josh Sweat, who had 7.5 sacks last year. And they out for the year is Derek Barnett.
Well, Sweat has 3. Let me make sure I'm reading correctly across the board here. He's got 6 tackles for losses and 2.5 sacks so far.
Mm-hmm.
So Cowboys offensive line going to have their hands full.
Yes.
And the Eagles offensive line going to have their hands full. The
and
other thing
Cooper Rush needs to empty his hands real quickly. Get the ball out.
The formula's the same. Do not. What did Jimmy Johnson say?
Don't
get
take a sack.
And do not turn it over.
And we love incompletions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who do we love in this game? Picks to click and picks to win. What are y'all thinking?
Picks to click. I'm first.
Is Parsons off the board again?
Until we just start really.
Other than Parsons.
Until we start really tanking, as we go along.
Yeah, right. Looking bad.
Right. If we keep tanking, then Parsons back on. He's all game. So I'm looking at us having a tough time up front trying to run the ball. If we're smart, then we're going to have some plays that are going to counter what they're good at. They're good at stopping the run. I think we're going to be able to, with the play action, not quite sure we can have a steady diet of tight ends in the passing game. I look at our running backs being a nice, deceptive
catching the ball out
of the backfield. I don't know how good their linebackers are, but I believe in space we can get open, and hopefully Zeke doesn't get out there and act like he hadn't seen a football before like he does sometimes.
Got the Eric Scissorhands.
Right. I don't know what goes on with that, but
we used to call Dorsett that because his hand.
Right. Yeah. Same thing. But Zeke used to catch better than that. But I hope he gets back to that because I think we need to give him the ball more. I didn't say Pollard because, man, love me some Pollard, but his ability to pick up blitzes, and there's going to be a lot of it in this game. His ability to pick up blitzes, I hope he knows what the heck he's doing when he's in there. And I think Zeke's going to be in there mostly because of that, because of his experience. He's my guy, pick to click. And
Pollard?
No, Zeke.
Zeke.
Yes,
Zeke.
Okay.
No, Zeke.
Okay.
No, I don't know how much time Pollard can get in those type of situations.
I got you.
In those type of situations. This will be the first time the Cowboys give up more than 20 points in a minute. When's the last time we gave 20 points?
Last year.
Wow, crazy. Okay, so this time, first time this year.
Yeah.
First time this year, but we're still going to win 27-23.
Ooh.
27-23. Zeke leads the way.
With receptions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take, and this may not be the statistical winner, but the most important person in this game is going to be Cooper Rush.
Ooh.
He better click, because if he doesn't, it's going to be 27-10. And for the win, in my research, the Cowboys have beaten Philadelphia 7 of the last 9 times they've played. And actually, one of those losses in those 9 times was a replacement game, although one of the wins were too.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a loss. It was one of the wins. I'm sorry. The replacement game they lost was to Washington. And so my score is going to be first time the Cowboys give up multiple touchdowns in a game this year, but they will win 23-21. So I probably should have taken Brett Maher as my winner because he's going to have to kick at least 3 field goals.
Okay. And I've got 23-20 Cowboys, and because I've seen it before, Jalen Hurts is going to throw a pick down in the red zone.
He's going back to his Oklahoma days.
I hope so.
And my pick to click is Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson just might be that guy who comes up with the game-saving interception down on the goal line.
That's not a bad choice.
That's not.
Because remember,
he's going to be geeked this entire game.
They ain't faced us yet. Last week it was we're nobody's underdog. This week they ain't faced us yet.
Yeah, I like that.
So should I have picked DeMarcus Lawrence?
That doesn't mean he's going to be a star. It just means that I like.
I think Donovan Wilson.
Hold on.
Actually, I like all.
Who was your
three
guy,
picks.
Spags? Who's your guy? Spags?
I took Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. That's right.
Quarterback's got the game in his hands.
So you're saying Cooper Rush won't have as many turnovers as Jalen Hurts. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're hoping.
He will play clean.
Does that mean he won't turn it over at all?
Yeah, I'm worried about sack fumble. Because he ended up with 3 sacks against the Rams. But he only had 1
Once again,
in 2 other games.
When your defense is balling, all of that stuff just dim. It's dim light. You don't even pay attention to it.
As long as you hold them in check and tackle.
And so, Bill, what was your score?
23-20. Cowboys win.
23-20.
Donovan Wilson is your star of the game.
We got a mixed shot secretary here.
Yeah.
Or maybe administrative assistant.
Well, first of all, it's only because I'm kicking y'all's butts.
Okay.
So that's all. That's the reason.
What's our record picking games this season?
I'm winning.
4-1.
I'm winning.
We're 4-1.
I know I'm 4-1.
I think
I picked. I don't think I picked Tampa. No, I did. I picked Tampa.
You did.
Picked Tampa.
Yeah,
did I really?
You did. Yeah.
Oh, I'm 5-0.
And I
sell out.
I didn't on the premise that they should have beat them last year in the season opener. Left all those points on the board, kicking field goals.
I'm going to have a perfect season.
Okay.
And that if I'm going to have
if you get this one right, I bet you get the next 2 right.
Well, see, that's the thing. You got Detroit and Chicago.
That's right.
Coming up, and then the bye.
You'll
going
get
to win the bye week.
Yeah, who's going to win the bye? Yeah.
All right. That does it for a fabulous Football Friday Philly edition of Mix Shots.
Get your seatbelts ready.
Yep, it's going to be fun on Sunday night, and you're going to the game?
Fabulous football.
Yes, I'm
Philly
supposed to.
So you're going to get in at what time, Monday? And you go straight from the tarmac here.
4:30 maybe. You know, back in the day when we do those games and I had to do like radio at 8:30 in the morning, I just go to the ranch and go down in the little room there where Brad Sham would work. There's no windows, and I had a little pallet there, and I'd go to sleep on the floor.
And then set your alarm and do your ranch report.
Because the way I looked at it,
wow, you were rough in this bag. That's crazy.
I would get 3 hours sleep, right? If I went from the charter home and then back to Valley Ranch, there goes an hour.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Everybody's got a story, buddy.
Okay. And we'll have stories to tell on our next edition of Mix Shots on Monday at noon.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.